Hello, I'm Frits Gronsveld. I'm chairman of the board of directors of the SCC Group, the Shipping and Transport College in Rotterdam.
Hello, Frits Gronsveld. Welcome. Thanks for joining us in this lovely place with this great view on Rotterdam. And we want to hear all about your hydrogen ship. But first, can I ask you to tell us something about what STC Group does?
Yeah, well, actually, we have a view on the SCC Group, which is right over there. And the SCC Group is an educational or maybe even knowledge institute on the maritime industry, the logistics and transport, and the process industry.
And well, you have a ship that's going to run on hydrogen. It will be baptized very soon. What is so special about the ship?
Yeah. Well, hydrogen is actually only one of the issues or the specialties of this ship. I think it's unique in its sort all around the world. First of all, it's the design. For an inland shipping vessel, it's a really special ship. Second, it's the energy sources it uses. It's not only hydrogen, it's the classic fuel, it's electricity, and it's hydrogen. It's also very special because it's sort of a research vessel. It has all kinds of electronic instruments on board.
Training students on a ship like this must mean you see a big future for a green maritime sector. Can you share a little bit with us what your vision looks like?
In itself, the inland shipping industry is already a very energy-friendly form of transport because sometimes like 80 containers are on one vessel. So which means you have 80 less trucks on the road. And the challenge for the shipping industry is to become even more carbon neutral by using other sources of energy. And we, of course, think our students are which are young people, are very important in that transition. So that's why we train them and bring them into contact with electricity and hydrogen. And that goes for the shipping sector, the maritime industry as a whole, of course. Like 70% of all products that land in your house are at one stage or another were on a ship. So if those ships become more energy friendly, that means the shipping industry pays a big contribution to a more energy friendly world and a more climate neutral world.
Yeah. So can you give us some examples of what's different?
If you look at the different types of fuel, these poses all different challenges for students. Actually, for ship owners, of course, like how do you plan your trip when you sail on electricity? What does it do with the current? What does the current do with the length of your journey? But also, where do you load the ship? Where do you bunker the ship with, let's say, classic fuels or with hydrogen? And also, what do you do when the ship gets broken or the engine? There's something with the engine, which is, of course, different technology. So it's a whole new field of education that we come into.
What would you say would be the main challenges for building a ship like yours?
We train our students for the here and now, but also for the future. So one of the challenges was to have these three sorts of propulsion energy sources in the ship, which could run one after the other. So students there are still a lot of ships that run on like diesel or whatever CO2 fuel. So they need to know how that works. But ships already also work on electricity, so they also need to know how that works. There are only very few vessels already going on hydrogen or green hydrogen, but still in the near future there will be more. So the challenge is to bring our students into contact with all these three forms of energy.
How did the partners here in Rotterdam help you in realizing the project?
Yeah. In a lot of ways. Let's first mention finance. For a public school like we are, this is a very costly, let's say, mean of education. So we need our partners from the industry, but also from the government, the local government or the national government, to help us finance such a huge investment. So a lot of partners from industry, but also from government, helped us with financing. And second of all, of course, knowledge. There are a lot of partners involved in the hydrogen propulsion, in the electricity propulsion, but also in all these, what I said before, the digitization of the ship.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and a lot of companies, for example, contributed instruments for free. So we didn't have to pay for them, or only a minimum of the cost for the company, because they also want to bring young people into contact with the newest technologies.
So you talked about all these companies, partners, municipality, all contributed. So in that sense, what do you think makes Rotterdam and also the port of Rotterdam especially so unique in Europe, if you look at the energy transition in general?
We are very connected with industry and the municipality. So all our students have internships in the industry, so they contribute also to innovation in industry. So already in Rotterdam, the SCC group and our education is very much connected with industry, and industry is very committed to our school, because we stand in a tradition of centuries of sailing schools in Netherlands. And I think the challenge for the Rotterdam port is huge. So I think the investment in the Rotterdam port is enormous, and our students pay a small contribution to those investments, but especially in, well, serving industry, in getting ahead of all these problems and these challenges.
Well, I look forward to seeing the ship sailing pretty soon here.
You're very welcome. The baptism of the ship is on the 2nd of September during the World Port Day, so be there, I would say.
We look forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome.